All statements and opinions expressed by guests of the Adult in the Room podcast are strictly their own and do not necessarily reflect the beliefs or opinions of the host, producers, or advertisers. All interviews are presented in their most complete possible form in the interests of free speech. No statements should be interpreted as financial, legal, or medical advice. Listener and viewer discretion are strongly advised.
It's the Adult in the Room podcast with Victoria Taft. That's me. Welcome to the Adult in the Room podcast with Victoria Taft. And, you know, the funny thing is that as we look forward to Christmas season here in the United States of America and all around the world, we acknowledge that there's a lot of trouble in the world, and people need God more than any time ever, I believe. And so when we set up this interview with Anatoly Kaluzhny this week, who's a Ukraine pastor at the New Life Church in Kiev, Ukraine, we thought, well, we'll be able to knock this bad boy out. I mean, no problem, right? This is going to be fine. And of course, nothing's ever fine. He's out of the war zone at the moment, but he's still in a spiritual war zone as he takes a break in the United States to talk with supporters and that sort of thing. And we were just laughing because, you know, here we are, first world technology, and we have some issues. And so, Anatoly Kaluzhny, welcome back to the Adult in the Room podcast with Victoria Taft. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm glad to be in America, honestly, just to be outside of war zone. It's really helped my nerve system, and my night sleep is getting much better because last couple months we had a really very heavy night. Every night we had drones, missiles, and air defense system work, and it's usually very bad night sleep. During the day, it's okay, but when you lost your night sleep, you feel not very good. And it's not just me, all Ukraine like that. And it's purposely Putin try to do it every night just to make Ukrainians tight and weaker and angry. Yeah. And it's what we have. But here in America, it's like a little paradise for me.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're in California, too, so that is a paradise, except when you get around some crazy people, but you're not going to be meeting up with any of those. What are you doing here anyway? Just be getting a respite, I understand. But what else are you doing here?
Yeah, number one, we had a very serious conversation with people from Samaritan Purse, from Franklin Graham, and we set very serious meeting with them. Numbers of Republican leaders and influential church leaders. It must happen before inauguration. Why it's important? It's important because the situation in America completely changed after all of that mess what you walked through. And from our perspective, it's looked like new American administration doesn't have very clear vision for what to do with Ukrainian war, with our problem, and they try to find some way. And I think church leaders, include me, we will try to have a conversation and help to be advocate of Ukraine, maybe, just to help to find right way to fix this problem.
What do you think the right way is?
Number one, all of us, we tired from the war. We need peace. But what I listen here from different people from Trump group, for example, we have to give 20% of Ukrainian land to Russia, and we must be 20 years out of NATO. And honestly, all Ukrainians, include politics and pastors, and we disagree because it's not judge or it's not right way for peace. Peace must be honest and very clear. We need umbrella of security, Ukraine need umbrella of security. And by our opinion, during the last 30 years, Russia lie Ukrainians twice. It's happened in when we give all nuclear weapons for Russia because of America, England, Russia, France, China. They give us guarantee, but that guarantee costs nothing for us. And after that, in 2014, when Russia got eastern part of Ukraine, Ukraine signed some kind of agreement in Minsk, and in 10 years, Russia, or 8 years, Russia just broke all of that promises. Right? And we don't want to have a third one make such kind of mistake, and because of that, we need really guarantee of our security, because Ukraine pays such a huge price for on this war, and because of that, we need to do something. We need to have this right way peace, not just peace by such a big price like land and no security. Putin won't stop this war, it's for sure. But why? Because he's out of weapons, he's out of people, he recruit people from North Korea, from other place. His economy is almost collapsed, and he need to take a pause, he need to take a break for short period of time, and he will do again when he will be ready. We doesn't want, we need guarantee, we need to be smart, we are not naive. And because of that, churches, politicians, and all our society, we try to explain, especially in America, because I know many churches, many Christians support Trump, and we hope Trump will have enough wisdom and his team will have enough conscience and wisdom to make a right decision and not just give Ukraine back to Russia.
I don't see him doing that, but on the other hand, I mean, he's the first president to ever give you guys defensive capability, and following the attack on the 2014 attack. And so, I mean, you have to kind of keep your hopes up, I think. And I don't think he's that big a fan of Vladimir Putin, but I do believe that you're right about how Russia's on the ropes. I'm not an expert, but with 700,000 people who have, that's a casualty rate, and with having to pick troops up from North Korea and from Yemen and Syria.
Yemen, you're right, in Syria and some other places.
That's crazy. I mean, that is just crazy. So I mean, they're desperate. They desperately want people, but it only makes sense in relative terms. This is really bad for Russia. How bad is it in Ukraine? How many people have you lost? It's really difficult to get decent information in the United States.
Yeah, we lost a lot of people. Nobody knows because we don't have a clear. But if Russia now wounded and killed people, they have something around 1 million. It's very close to this number. Ukraine, because they attacked, Ukraine lost maybe 200,000, 250, something around 300,000 people. But Ukraine much smaller, and you can see it very. If you visit any small town or city, you will see in main street pictures of hero who give their life for our freedom. If you will visit Ukraine, any cemetery, you will be shocked. So many Ukrainian flags. Each flag, it's mean somebody bury here who give life for our victory, and it's impressive, and we pay huge price for our victory, and we need democracy people just to help us. What make us scary, honestly, during all of that election season, and we follow, everyone in Ukraine follow, and we look just for one word from Trump or from Vice President, just one word, Ukraine. We are with you. We will not just let Putin to do. And you know what it was very painful for us. We didn't get he didn't say anything bad about Putin, like Putin, he is aggressor, he is criminal guy, and he did say something very good about Ukraine and our president. It makes us scary, honestly, I tell you.
You're concerned.
But I think it's because of election, it's crazy season, and I hope it's now it will be changed. Now it's like a reality of life. It's not election.
So here's what he's thinking. I mean, I know I've heard him say as much. So we've got Vladimir Zelensky saying, I want to go get to the peace table. And Joe Biden has held him away from the peace table for all 4 years of his presidency. When he could have, and he says, and we'll give up the...
I'm not... Yeah, go ahead.
No, he said he would give up the land they've already lost to Russia if he can get into NATO. And of course, that was the thing that started this whole thing to begin with.
Honestly, biggest trouble in Ukraine we start to have a year ago when American Congress didn't allow Ukraine to get $61 billion, and during that 7 months of argue what your government had in Senate, it was a most difficult season because no pension, no social money for social service, no weapons, and that big pain. We lost a lot during that time. And I remember that time one of my friends visited Michael Johnson with some other guy who lost his wife. His wife was a daughter of pastor from Odessa. And he talked to him from face to face and just explained him, Mike, look, you are Christian, you are godly man, look what's going on. We are completely out of weapons, and I'm so glad God touched him and he changed his mind, and after 7 months of struggle, we get what we need. It's nothing wrong with that. And I don't want to be very deep involved in your inside politics conflict between Republican and Democrats. For us, America choose president for America. And it's new reality for us. And from one side, I am conservative and I like conservative president. But from another side, I need to get some facts, some information. Ukrainian churches and president administration, new administration stay with you. What I can see now, it's very, also when I visit America, I communicate with some of our donors, and some donors says, situation in America changing, and now we stop support Ukraine. And I can tell you numbers of different donors who was support Ukraine early time before. Now they stopped to support Ukraine. I know some organization who used to support refugee. I worked with refugee. We have 2 million local refugee and 6 million refugee outside of Ukraine. And that organization says we will stop support local refugee in Ukraine. We will help refugee just in America. Sorry about that, but it's our new reality. And what is
Who says that? Who says that?
It's one huge American church. I don't want to tell just name of that church, but its mission pastor of that church gave me a very clear answer. Sorry, we stop. And another way, I know, for example, Samaritan Purse. I know personally very well Trump, and I know leadership team.
Yeah.
But guy who represent Samaritan Purse in Ukraine, he says it's new reality. We cut 30% of support of our budget in Ukraine. And he says, sorry, it's not my decision. It's new reality. What it mean, new reality? To make Ukraine completely out of any condition of life, I don't know. But I tell you, it's very difficult to understand for me. Even my friends, my brother, Christian, became leaders of the country. I don't know, but it's very painful. Honestly, I tell you. I can tell you many stories like that because I spent in America already 2.5 weeks. I was in different states. I talk with a lot of people, leaders, and I'm just a little bit shocked to see people not ready now to do what they did during the last 3 years.
Do you have enough, beyond the help from America, do you have enough men to fight?
Oh, men to fight. You know, we honestly, I know it's America, talk about that. They want us to send on the front line kids. I know that. But honestly, what's happened, we have 3 or 4 units, a huge big number of Ukrainian troops who are ready to fight, but they don't have weapons. And our president asked about that weapons from beginning of summer. He asked, we have such a strong guys, prepare, but we need weapons for them. But not.
So you're not getting enough weapons from the U.S.?
We don't have enough weapons from the U.S., from another country, for troops, Ukrainian troops, called ready, prepare for fight. What that?
I mean, all we hear over here, Anatoly, is all the billions we're sending over there, and that we're sending aircraft and we're sending the Patriot missile system, defense system, that we're sending people to go along with those systems, that we're sending people and training people in drone technology so that they can use drone technology in fighting, prosecuting the war.
Honestly,
so we're like, what else? And we pay all the, I'm just
I can tell you, we are very appreciate America for Patriot method. Why? But it's air defense. It's air defense. I have a Patriot just behind my house in Kiev city, and every night I can see, I can listen this big noise. Why? Because sometimes during the night Russia sent 100. I remember before I left 120 missiles in one night and 90-something drones. We have to shoot that, it's true, but it's not all. We need much more than just protect civil people. Protect civil people, it's important, but we need another. I know in America you have a lot of stuff in Nevada and Abrams and some other.
You're talking. Wow.
Yeah, here.
You want tanks?
But I can tell you about drones. Believe me, in Ukraine, everyone who in each second garage, we produce our drones by ourselves.
Wow.
And you can't believe. I know numbers of my people from my church, my people around, and they produce just in garage to protect Ukraine. Why? Because we didn't get enough from the West. And drone technology, I think Ukraine now developed drone technology very fast because we are poor, but we are not stupid. We have smart, intelligent people
Yeah.
in Ukraine.
Right.
And we, even I can tell you honestly, even America just will not support Ukraine. We will not give up. We will stay. We're ready to die, but not to step back because we fighting for our freedom. We fighting for freedom of Europe, and we looking for honest, godly people who can stay behind us. We are not asking your troops come and fighting with us, or we are not asked troops from Europe. Just give us what we need. And because America put their signature or give us guarantee, or America will protect us. We had number three third largest nuclear weapons in the world in Ukraine.
Yeah.
We give it away because America give us guarantee.
Right.
And now we are not asked you give us nuclear weapons, just give us something more simple, and we need it. And you can't imagine. I invite you as a famous blogger just to visit Ukraine. We will visit numbers of churches, numbers of cities, and you will see by your eye what's going on, how it's dangerous for civil. I'm not talking about military guys, because it's hell. And Putin became crazy last months after election. He tried to get how much he can or Ukrainian land. Why? Because I listen Russian expert and Russian politicians. They says we need to get how much we can because of Trump will stop war where we are, where we will be. Can you imagine how it's? And now it's never before. Russia lost every day about from 1,500 to 2,000 people on the front line every day. It's never happened before like that.
Where are they? What's the front line now?
Oh, front line. They get every day some villages, some places, because we call it. They have a meat storm. They are not count how many people they lost. You know, they out of morale. I also, as a pastor, I working very serious to ministry to prepare chaplain for Ukraine army. And I meet with them in regular basis because Ukraine has a chaplain institute all around the army. And I can tell you, they told me a lot of stories. It's like a hell on the front line. You cannot imagine. It's like a hell. Yeah. And we have to stop it, because we pay big price. But it's look like somebody want to play game. Oh, okay, we will see what kind of interest we will get if we will help Ukraine. Now we are talking about interest. We talk about moral issue. It's very important to help anyone, because on our side God, on our side truth, and all democracy world, we are a free country.
So, Anatoly, let me ask you about the worries that you might have about nuclear exchanges, at least tactical nuclear weapons coming in on your people, because Vladimir Putin has threatened to do that. And what do you hear of that in your country?
Honestly, America much more afraid nuclear weapons from Putin and Ukraine. We know for sure he will not use nuclear weapons. He is not ready. It's number one. Why? Because all nuclear weapons was producing in Russia in Soviet time, and mostly was producing in Ukraine, and nobody provides service for that nuclear weapons. And for 95%, it's doesn't work. It's one side. Another side of the problem, countries like India, China, and some other friends of Putin, they just told him, don't do it. Don't do it. And he will not do it. Number three.
Who says that? Who says that?
China and India. China and India.
All right.
Yeah. Number three, why, if he will use nuclear weapons, it means for him it will be finished. He knows that. And why he will use nuclear weapons if maybe Trump will make a compromise with him, maybe Trump will find some way to give Russia piece of Ukraine land, to take away sanctions from Russia, and Putin will say, we are winners, and he will save his reputation. By my opinion and opinion of my people, no reason for Putin to use nuclear weapons now, it's for sure.
Well, that'd be kind of dumb anyway, but so Zelensky's saying, he's saying right now, I think it was even before the election, I want to have peace talks. I'm willing to give up the land that Russia has already won from us, and I want to be in NATO. Is there anything wrong with any one of those variables?
Honestly, I met with Zelensky and I talked to him from face to face. It happened last summer. It was very honest. Me as a pastor, I told him very clear. I told him victory from God, and I encouraged him to more pray, not just ask, pray. And after that, he organized National Day of Prayer, all Ukraine. During the day, he just pray about protection to God, all different denominations, all different nations, include president and his team. It was a very special day in Ukraine. And I also told him a lot about the story of Moses, because he is Jewish. He knows that stories, how Moses prayed. And it was very clear. I just told him, I saw God during all of this war. I saw his protection when Russian troops stay around Kiev. I saw God in many places. I can tell you a lot of miracles what God did during all of this difficult time for Ukraine. And now I understand Zelensky wants to, because we lost a lot of people. And people, Ukraine need people for economy, for it's very huge resource, people. Yeah, and he wants to save people, and he's not crazy like Putin. He will not send people just to die, and he ready to stop the war and looking for, from one side, he looking for compromise. What compromise? For example, we will never sign the paper. All land what Russia get from Ukraine belong to Russia. No, we believe after Putin, 5, 10 or more or less years, it will be back to Ukraine by different way, maybe by diplomatic way. But from another side, if you stop the war, best way to do it to invite Ukraine to NATO club. Why? Because if Ukraine will belong to NATO, Putin will never start to fight with Ukraine again, it will be best umbrella for us. And I'm completely agree with our president if we talk about this umbrella, just to give us peace and to not allow us to be part of NATO. It's mean next generation we will lose one generation and we will lose another generation. And what Ukraine need peace, and Ukraine need very good climate for investor, for donors, for partners
Well, you guys
who
are
will be happy.
you're the gas
Come to
station of the
Ukraine.
world. I mean, you are the literal gas station of the world. How much of the Donbass has Russia taken from Ukraine? Because that's where all the stuff is.
A lot. Russia take 20% of Ukraine land, and our president told in his interview, we have a lot of different kind minerals, is oil, gas, and titanium. What America need for Boeing, different kind of stuff like for electric car, for battery, lithium, and we have a lot for $300 billion just approximately, plus agriculture. We have like 40% of black soil around the world. Ukraine always, until now, we don't have problem with food because we have enough food, because we produce it. We work very hard, civil people. And the Ukraine, it has great potential, but I know Putin can propose, if American president, when looking for interest, best interest is freedom for Ukraine, best interest to be partner with Ukraine in Ukraine, best interest to have investors to Ukraine, when we will have umbrella to send investors and produce, because Ukraine people work very hard, and we can have why you send all of that to China, to some India, Ukraine people, smart
but it's
people,
not developed yet. It's not developed yet. But here's the thing.
To develop that, we need guarantee of, we need security. I know nobody will invest money to Ukraine without guarantee and without security.
Oh, I'm sure George Soros will just love to buy up all the Donbass and all of his friends and cronies and all the people that are, well fixed at BlackRock and all that. They'll get theirs. They'll be able to invest in your country, and they will be richly rewarded. And maybe they'll crush Putin, which has been their regime change desire and the fondest wish of their hearts before the inception. But in the meantime, you guys are struggling. In the meantime, you need more people. In the meantime, you need M4 rifles. You need Kalashnikovs. You need something. I don't know what your troops need. What's Poland sending you? I thought Poland was sending you a bunch of stuff too.
Poland, I can tell you, Poland very satisfied. Why? When war starts, Ukraine send a lot of refugee just to Poland. We open borders, and Poland spent numbers of money for refugee. But do you know, Poland now, refugees, they start to work in Poland, and the budget of what they make for Poland is 3 times bigger than money what Poland invests to refugee. Can you imagine? An economy of Poland, because they're smart, it's just growing very fast because of. They says, what we will do if Ukraine people just move back to Ukraine? Who will work? And it's true picture, because I fly from Poland. I visit Poland quite often. I visit Ukrainians in Poland. I can tell you, everyone finds job and produce something or working. And Polish people is happy about that. And Ukrainian, very, very hard worker people. And with Poland, nothing wrong. And all countries like Poland, Baltic countries like Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, or Czech Republic, they understood very well. I think other like Sweden, Norway, or all the North countries, they understood, England understood that very well, and they stay right now against Ukraine. They a country who doesn't want to see Ukraine in the NATO. It's America, number one. Is Germany number two, and a country like Hungary and Slovakia. Hungary and Slovakia, this country, leaders of that country, they are close to Putin.
I see.
They communicate with Putin. Maybe why America? Why Germany? It's difficult for me to understand.
So, yeah, I don't understand that. Although I think they're probably under the thumb of Putin because they're buying all their gas from him in Germany, which was really a smart move, Joe Biden. But I would say that Finland and Sweden are now a part of NATO, so they touch borders with Russia, and it seems to me.
And Russia doesn't have any question about that. Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because Russia want to take. You need to understand very strategic point. Russia want to rebuild Soviet Union. Russia want to be again huge, big, and influential. Russia want now budget of Russia very small, less than California. And you need to understand, Russia, Putin wants to be strong again. He wants to say, here's my interest in Syria. Here's my interest in Georgia. Here's my interest in Africa.
Right.
But it's wrong way to let him to be strong. And Ukraine is just a first big step. Now you know what's going on in Georgia. You know Georgia, Black Sea, Georgia. I mean, you know what's going on. What was in Moldova, how Russia spent money and tried to win an election, put his own person. It's happened everywhere. In Syria, you know what's going on. Russia, it's very dangerous, evil, imperial of evil. And this democracy world must stop Russia and not allow
they're trying.
Russia to do.
They're trying.
They try very intelligent way.
Yeah.
Very kind way.
No,
try, but at the same time they afraid Russia. They're afraid nuclear weapon. They're afraid because Putin is crazy. But don't be afraid, please.
Well, I mean, so you're in the United States and you're talking to Samaritan's Purse. You're talking with the leaders there, Franklin Graham and others. You're going to the folks in North Carolina with whom I know you have a close affiliation, and Orange County, California, with churches that support you there, and other places, probably in Texas as well. And the thing is that so they can help you, but they're not a state actor. They can send you money and things to help your people, but they can't send weapons unless you're that guy who tried to take out Trump. He was doing weapons in Ukraine.
You need to understand another, why I try to explain what's going on in Ukraine and why it's important to continue to be with Ukraine for churches. Why? Because each Ukrainian has post-traumatic syndrome. It's for sure.
Oh, I bet.
For example, we have numbers of camp, and we provide a special training like rehab center for widows. We have 100,000 widows.
Wow.
We provide camps for people like for kids who lost parents. It's big jump for them. We provide just camp for regular people, for teenagers, for regular people, because to live 3 years under the missiles and drones and fear,
yes.
it's terrible. And Ukraine must go through the rehab, and church must to do it. Who will do it? Just church can do it. And I encourage churches to be ready for big rehab ministry. It's number one. Number two, can you imagine 3 years most of the family, wife live in Europe with kids, father stay in Ukraine. What do you think about this family? I know now it's huge problem for family. Many divorces, many just separation. And we have to help them because without healthy family, it's no future. Who will do it? Church, yes. And because of this, I'm like advocate of Ukraine. I know now most of the churches and Christian organization not ready to spend money for Ukraine because of, I told you, they will wait and what administration of Trump will do in Ukraine. After that, they will make decision. But we have to do it. Doesn't matter.
I've never heard of a church I've never heard of a church holding abeyance help to a needy person dependent upon the political atmosphere. That's just weird. I mean, because whether or not we agree politically, we agree that we're all brothers and sisters in God's kingdom.
I can tell you, they didn't tell because of, but they said we have to wait. We just cut. Reality is change. They find the right word to say, but as a fact, Ukraine get in all social programs get much less because of all of that trouble, all of the situation what you have in America now.
Yeah. How do you get through every day? We asked you 2.5 years ago, how do you get through the day? And now I'm asking you again, how do you get through the day?
It's very difficult. It's now I start because I can see my health is getting weak because I try to sleep. I try to sleep somewhere because I try to exercise. It's very important because I feel, but half of my day, I visit my office. And because we have a refugee center, I communicate early morning before my office, what's going on there. Does we have enough? We have to feed them 3 times per day. We have to heat place where they are. We have snow right now. We have to help them to get shower, hot water, and we have to bring them gospel. I'm busy with that. More than 4,000 people just walk to our camp. It's huge, big. Number 2, I have scheduled for my classes with chaplain. I provide teaching for chaplains. They need to understand gospel. For 1 million army, what Ukraine has, we have just 800 chaplains. It's not enough. And I'm working to prepare much more chaplain for Ukraine army. Another area, we have numbers of refugees in Kiev city. And at the beginning of the war, many organizations were ready to provide some food for them because they get from government just small number of money. They need to rent apartment or place to stay. They need to buy the food. And churches, we used to organize food for them, lunch for them. We give them bags with food and medicine. But now, because not many organizations want to participate, it's much more difficult to do all of that. It's very difficult. But plus, we have members of the church. Many of them, it's new members. Can you imagine from 1,500 members what I had to 1,000 spread all around the world, include here in San Diego. And other people just stay everywhere. And we have now about 500 people, a lot of new people, and we have needy, poor people, and it's very difficult. We have to teach them, not just feed them, teach them how to live by faith, how to trust God, how to see God in all of this situation. We are very busy to minister for people. And number 2, all our church leaders, for example, 17th of December, we will have, every month we have 1 meeting for the denomination leaders, and I'm there always, and we talk about different strategies, situation, what we can do, how we can help. For example, right now I am very serious looking for. We have a mobile dentist clinic because of war and because of very cold. Many people out they have a number one pain. It's a teeth, and they need help. We have great clinic. I communicate with private doctors. They're ready to provide like a volunteers ministry
Sure.
with my mobile clinic, but I don't have supply. I don't have money for gas. We usually visit. Why? Because Samaritan person says, sorry, we can't support you anymore. You have to do it by yourself. And it's important just to give for needy people
Sure.
in front line, just to fix the teeth because it's pain. And
Well, you're providing
I'm looking for that.
You're providing such an important service to the people, and I know that there are billions that have been sent, and some of that has to be made for helping the individuals.
You
that
need
do.
to understand war is very expensive games.
Yeah.
Do you know how much cost one missile? You can research about that. Do you know how much cost just liter of gases and just to feed 1 million of troops, Ukrainian troops? And honestly, war, it's very, why you have such a big inflation, not just in America, big inflation in Europe, in everywhere. Why? Because war take a lot of money from everywhere.
Yeah.
We have to stop it. You need to understand, it's not because Biden's such a terrible, I don't know what you think about him. The problem is it's a war. And that war is very expensive for America, for Europe, for everyone. And we need to stop that.
Yeah, it'd be nice to stop. 2024, 2025, year of peace. What do you think?
Yeah, I will be happy if it will happen today or tomorrow. Each month for me, like a year. It's not just for me, for all Ukrainians, because if you will just try to be out of normal sleep during the week, and you will understand a little bit what's going on with us in Ukraine, to be out of sleep. Just try to stay in cold place without heating. And we walked through that, and we tired from that. And I just asked a Christian brother and sisters, you know how to have influence to your people, to your country, to your government, to the God. Just let's stay in the gap, pray, and just to do something, not just pray, be doers, do something, and let's stop that evil, because war is everywhere. I know this world is very broken. I know. And by the way, I research Bible, and I find, do you know how many times word war Bible use? I was shocked. It's like 240 in my Ukrainian Bible, 240 something times.
Wow.
But do you know how many times it used word grace?
How many?
It's about 50 times, or 57 or something like that. Love, something like that. Why? Because we live in broken war. War in the heaven, war inside of each of us, war everywhere, here in America, and war between Putin, Ukraine, and Russia. And we are, as a Christian, let's stop that war inside of us, in our countries, between countries, and let's be peacemakers, because God called us to do it.
Well, I hope we can. I mean, that would be nice. It would be an amazing thing.
It's exactly what God wants us to do as a Christian, not just to stay and have lovely, nice quiet life, and because devil never touch people who never touch him. Try to bring peace, and you will all evil, all demons will get to you because it's war. I can see it. If I just stay, I can stay somewhere in the corner and nobody touch me. If I fight it for truth, I will have a lot of problems in my life.
Mm-hmm. Anatoly Kaluzhny, thank you so much for spending some time on the Adult in the Room podcast with Victoria Taft. Thank you so much. God bless you, and we'll pray for you as well as keep in touch to find out what your needs are. Thank you.
Thank you very much. God bless you too.
God, thank you.
God bless America too.
God bless Ukraine too. Amen.
Amen.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Adult in the Room podcast. To keep the programs you like to listen to, please rate this podcast with a fantastic 5 stars on your Apple Podcast app every time you listen. And give me a great review. Plus, of course, subscribe to the podcast. It makes a difference with the big tech algorithm and the big tech oligarchs, and it makes us easier to find. Please get in touch with me on all the big tech stuff. Yeah, we're still there. Using the names Victoria Taft or the Adult in the Room podcast on MeWe, Parler, Minds, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks to 1ACast for imaging, editing, and production. The fantastic song is Gospel by the March 4th Band of Portland, Oregon. Music for Antifa versus Mike Strickland is Ride or Die by Raps by RC. The Adult in the Room podcast is also a production of Flamingo Road Studios. Remember, head up, heart out, and strive to be the adult in the room. Till next time, mischief managed.